So when it comes to UX and UI design, what are the differences? This is one of the first questions that a lot of new designers ask. And so I think it's an appropriate time to take a break to go through some of the UX tips that I have for you before moving on to completing our mobile design. So when it comes to UI design, essentially UI means user interface. So this is the actual application or website or whatever interface that you're designing for the user to use. So this usually consists of, the visual design, the colors. A graphic designer usually works on this interface, and it consists of the layouts of the objects throughout the page, the typography, and really anything that you can get to see and interact with as a user. Now, UX is a bit more complicated, essentially means user experience. This is how the user actually interacts with the design. So not just the visual aspect of it and what it looks like, but rather how they interact with it. For example, wireframing and prototyping has to do more with UX design as you're putting together the experience for the user, and the placement of objects does directly make an impact on how the user uses the application and so on and so forth. So essentially, UI is the portion of the design that you can see, and UX is the portion of the design that the user can feel. And so I think one of the great resources available online that you can look at in order to improve your UX design skills, which could take some time. Usually UX design does take a bit more time to perfect and narrow down on. Now, if you go to this link, lawsofux.com, you'll be able to access a set of tips and tricks as a new UX designer that you can use. I'm going to leave this up to you to go over in detail, but in this website, you'll find a set of tips and tricks all put together in forms of laws of what you should do in your design. So I'll give you an example. This law of proximity means that the objects that are near or proximate to each other tend to be grouped together. I can click through to read more about this, but essentially it goes over why proximity is important in design and what type of relationship it establishes with nearby object and so on. And once you're done, you can go ahead and check out even more laws. There's a lot of great laws in here for UX design. And of course, you can go in more depth and check out all these laws over here. I'm not going to go through them one by one in this lecture. So I do encourage you to take a pause, go through this. Remember, this is not exactly something you want to memorize, but rather something you want to have access to as a resource while you're doing your design work. So feel free to take a look at this website, and again, the link for it is lawsofux.com. Very helpful.